My mom told the entire family I abandoned her after my dad passed away, left her alone to struggle, ignored her calls, never helped with anything. Yesterday, at my cousin's birthday dinner, she repeated the lie in front of everyone. So I finally told the truth. I didn't abandon her. She kicked me out of the house the same night as the funeral, so my brother could move back in rent-free. I'm Evan, 29. My brother Mark is 33. Growing up, Mark was the pride of the family. Star athlete, charming, everyone's favorite. I was the quiet one who studied, worked, and stayed out of trouble. When Dad got sick, I moved back home for a year to help. I drove him to appointments, made meals, did yard work, paid for medications insurance wouldn't cover. Mark visited twice. When Dad passed last spring, I stayed after the funeral to help Mom clean up. We were at the kitchen table when she sighed dramatically and said, "Sweetheart, I think it's time you move out. Mark needs the room. He's going through a lot." Mark had shown up that night bragging about quitting his job because of toxic management. Translation, he got fired again. I asked her, "You're kicking me out? Tonight? After everything?" She just said, "Don't make this difficult, Evan. Your brother needs support." So I packed my things, moved into a tiny studio, and went no contact for a while. If I didn't pay rent on time, I'd lose my home. Meanwhile, Mark, a grown man, got my old room, free food, free utilities, and zero responsibilities. I thought that was the end of it. Then, the lies started. Relatives began calling me, asking why I left my grieving mother alone. My aunt even said, "Your mother told us you refused to help with bills, Evan. How could you?" I realized Mom had rewritten the whole story to protect Mark. Now, I was the selfish son. Months passed before I saw any of them again. Yesterday was my cousin's birthday dinner, my first family event since everything went down. I showed up, nodded politely, kept to myself. Then, while dessert was being served, Mom said loudly, "It's been so hard without Evan. He just walked out after the funeral. I begged him to stay and help, but he didn't care." The table went silent. Everyone stared at me, and something in me snapped. But in a calm, cold way, I said, "That's not true." Mom stiffened. "Don't start." But I continued, clearly and slowly, so no one could twist it later. "I didn't leave. You kicked me out so Mark could move in. You told me to pack my things the same night Dad was buried. You didn't lose a son. You replaced him with the one who wouldn't lift a finger." Gasps around the table. Mark's face went red instantly. Mom shook her head frantically. "He's lying. Evan, how dare you after everything?" I pulled out my phone and opened the audio note I recorded that night. Her voice played aloud for the whole table. "You need to move out, Evan. Mark needs the room more than you. Don't argue with me." Silence. My aunt's jaw dropped. My uncle muttered, "Unbelievable." Mark pushed back his chair and left the room. Mom just sat there frozen. Unable to spin a new story quickly enough, I said, "I loved Dad. I took care of him. And you repaid that by throwing me out the door. I didn't abandon you. You abandoned me." I stood up and added, "I'm done letting you rewrite my life." Then I left. This morning, I woke up to messages from family members apologizing. Some angry at my mom, some furious at Mark. My aunt told me she confronted them both. Mark apparently moved out after Mom screamed at him for making her look bad, and she's now stuck paying the full mortgage alone. For the first time in months, nobody is asking me for favors, money, or explanations. I blocked Mom and Mark. I'm building a peaceful life in my small apartment, finally free of guilt trips and manipulation. I donated Dad's old tools to a community workshop, something he'd be proud of. My cousin texted me, "You did the right thing. Everyone sees the truth now." And for the first time in a long time, I feel like the weight I've been carrying wasn't mine to hold. And I finally set it down.